Askreddit asks, hey Reddit, what's the strangest coincidence you've ever personally experienced?
When I was a kid, around 13, I played a lot of a video game called Diablo 2. I started a clan with a few people I'd met on the internet and we played every day. At some point we were helping some random person and he asked to join. We thought he was nice enough so we let him in. As part of this clan we had a shared account we used to store game items for each other. After about a month of playing, this new guy goes in and changed the password. Steals the account and defriends everyone. Completely disappears off the map with all of our stuff. Fast forward a year later and my family moves to Texas and it's my first day at school. I'm sitting in algebra class talking to the person in the seat next to me and he mentions he plays Diablo. I said me too and that I ran a clan and everything. I asked his username and it was him. 2,000 miles away from where I first virtually met this guy, he's sitting next to me in math class. When I told him mine, his face went into total shock and he didn't know how to respond. It was awkward for sure. Ended up telling him I didn't care and was over it, but let's just say we didn't end up becoming friends.
Probably thought you had tracked him down to exact your revenge.
In freshman physics, I became friends with the Japanese kid next to me. After a while he was helping me with my Japanese homework, did really well after that. By the way, but after that class, we kinda drifted apart. Fast forward 2 years where I'm an exchange student in Japan over the summer and doing some sightseeing in Kyoto. After the program, I'm crossing the street in Kyoto and I hear my name being called out. I look around and there he is. Thousands of miles apart we meet again. We got some drinks and good food together. It was a blast. No, his hometown was not Kyoto. He was also doing sightseeing while home for the summer. Edit. My first gold. Thank you, kind internet stranger.
I met a Canadian guy while on holiday in South America and we ended up going sightseeing together. At the end of the day, a person behind us tapped him on the shoulder and asked if the scar behind his ear was from cancer surgery. They got talking. Turns out they were from the same small town in Canada, had the same type of brain cancer and had been operated on by the same surgeon.
Started dating this girl a few weeks ago. We get to talking about where we live, etc. She lives in not only the same building but exact same apartment I lived in 2 years ago. It was so fucking bizarre walking into my old apartment that I never thought I would see again. What are the odds?
Oh man, my now husband and I had the same deal. We, roommate and I, were the tenants that moved into his apartment right after him. We even came to look at it while he was still living there but not home. I had no idea I was looking at the furniture of someone I'd eventually marry. The first we hung out he came over and told me. I couldn't believe it.
That is pretty weird.
When I was 18, I lived in a town a very long ways away from where I ended up moving. I struck up a friendship with this guy from work in that town. We play Halo, watch movies, etc. And he was awesome. I ended up moving suddenly due to a family emergency. And never got his contact information. I didn't even remember his name a decade later. But I thought of him often as he was an awesome guy through all the years. 11 years later, I'm working at my job, carpooling with someone from my training class. And one night he asks if I mind his roommate being in the car as he was going to take the car after we got off at work and use it for the night. He introduces us. I turn around, and in the back seat is the guy from the town a very long ways away. We reconnected immediately, and now live together. He's my best friend, for sure, and the godfather to my children.
My sister, Emily, was on a ski lift in New Mexico when some younger girl across from her asked if her name was Emily. Apparently the stranger, who kind of looked similar but underage, had found her lost ID the year prior and had been using it for a year to buy alcohol. Edit. After this blew up I texted my sister, who reminds me it was weirder. She was later hiking with friends for 17 hours. They got tired, thumbed for a hitchhike and got picked up by this girl's twin.
That's the best story right here. Imagine her going through emotions as she recognizes that the girl in front of her is who she has been pretending to be for a year. D. Did she just admit it right away?
Probably thought you had tracked him down to exact your revenge.
My screen name is Inigo_Montoya. You killed. Stole my stuff in Diabo. Prepare to die. Edit. Spelling.
Actually, it would have been great if played it off like that's exactly what he had done.
I used to get 2 buses home from work. I got off the first one having left my phone and keys on the front seat of the bus without realizing. Got on the second bus. Went to my favorite front seat and my possessions that I didn't know were missing were waiting for me. The bus had changed driver and route. Still freaks my nut out to this day.
Phone, wallet, keys. I guess those phone and keys aren't ready to leave your side yet.
Went to college. Met a cute girl. Where'd you go to high school? She asks. You've never heard of it. I reply. I grew up in a town of 1,200 people. Graduated in a class of about 90. Try me, she says. And that was the beginning of finding out that not only had she heard of it, she had almost attended it because her family had lived in one of the neighboring towns very briefly when she was growing up. We shared dozens of mutual friends, and had apparently spent our young lives narrowly missing each other. Later, after we started dating, we learned that one of our mutual friends had been trying to set us up with each other for years. She was overwhelmed with laughter when she saw that we were finally together. Completely without her involvement, I asked her to marry me. She said yes. We went out to dinner with our parents so they could finally meet. Her folks arrive at the restaurant and see mine. Her mom goes, "Oh hey, my dad's name, so this is your son." Huh, they had been co-workers years ago. Of course, we've been married for 11 years now. Got a good thing going. We intend to keep it. Edit. I'm so glad you all enjoyed this. I love talking about my wife and have tons of wholesome stories like this. We do well because we each feel like we're the lucky one. Enjoy your day. Edit 2. By request of several commenters, I am adding one of my favorite stories of my wife and I in a comment below. It is a much cuter story. Please enjoy.
In grade 10 English class, the teacher didn't have anything planned for us to do and it was close to the end of the year, I guess. So she goes to the big Coupa board in the corner and pulls out a stack of copies. It's examples of a successful essay written during a final exam, so we can learn what a good one looks like and how to build a narrative, etc. The topic of these was what was the most pivotal moment of your life? There's 3 examples, ranging in proficiency. We read through the first 2, and I volunteer to read the last one aloud. I start reading, and I stop. The essay was about me. My big sister had gotten a really good mark 6 years earlier on her final exam essay which she wrote about the day I was born. I got pretty emotional about that one.
My screen name is Inigo_Montoya. You killed. Stole my stuff in Diabo. Prepare to die. Edit. Spelling.
Diabo.
My name is _XVX_Montoya_MONTOYA_XVX_FTFY.
Are you sure you don't sit by a mirror?
Bop is a dog.
Pop, do you hate vacuums?
A blue sweater wearing spaghetti making dog op, come live with me. Please, we will live wonderful lives together like a sitcom.
No, nothing's up with it. It's just a coincidence that's the town just happens to be Cancerville, Manitoba.
Asbestos. We have a town called Asbestos. Guess what they're known for? We'll give you a hint. It rhymes with asbestos.
Welcome to Cancerville population, constantly multiplying.
When I was a kid while hiking with my dad, I was babbling and said, "The teacher told us if you speak too much a fly will get in your mouth." In the exact moment a fly flew into my mouth.
I was riding my bicycle very fast and ran through a group of mosquitoes. One went into my nose which caused me to open my mouth which resulted in a lot going into it. I crashed sneezing and coughing on the ground trying to get them out. Bystanders thought I was having a seizure or something and tried to help while my friends stood there laughing.
You got some great friends, lol.
Told this story elsewhere, but I'm making you all read it again. Was at a convention. There were only a few people in the room. My friend and I wanted an autograph from a voice actor. He started singing in his character voice. There were two random guys next to me. One pulled out a video camera to record it. Years later, my husband and I are talking with friends. And the convention comes up. The guy with the video camera was my husband. I also took a picture later that day of the crowds. And he is in that picture. I stood next to my husband years before I met him. Edit. Thank you to everyone who shared their stories. Amazing how our lives can intersect. And a big thank you to the Redditor who gifted silver. It's a major award. Was sitting in a restaurant about 200 miles from where I live telling my mother, who was visiting from a different country, about a trip I had to another country, about 6,000 miles away, with a work colleague. And the lady at the table next to us leans over and says, "I think you're talking about my son." Turns out I was sitting next to my colleague's parents while showing my mum pictures of our trip.
I was in Paris and some Americans were lost. They were the grandparents on Edit of my high school CLSSS mates from Nebraska. It's a small world.
Were you saying bad things? Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to support the channel, and above all, have an excellent day, you amazing people.